Hey there, beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of Uncovering Your Inner Power. I'm your host, Jill Ripley, and today we're continuing on our Sacred Season of a Woman series. And this one I think is going to land for a lot of you because today we're talking about the season of the mother, the season of giving, nurturing, responsibility, and for many women, losing themselves. Now, when you hear mother, your mind might immediately go to raising children. But this season is so much bigger than that. The mother is the part of us that gives, nurtures, supports, and creates. Yes, that can absolutely show up in motherhood, but it also shows up in the way you show up in relationships, the way you care for others emotionally, the way you pour into your work, and the way you hold space for people. This is the season where life stops being just about you and starts being about what you can give to the world. And there is something incredibly beautiful about that. But there's also something incredibly dangerous if we're not aware. Let's start with the highest expression of this beautiful energy. The Divine Mother is nurturing, but she is not depleted. She gives, but not until she's completely empty. She loves deeply, but she does not abandon herself in the process. She understands that her role is not to lose herself in caring for others, but to expand from a place of fullness. She sets boundaries. She allows herself to receive. She also recognizes that her energy is sacred, and she protects it accordingly. And because of that, the love she gives is clean. It's not rooted in obligation or fear. It's rooted in truth. Now, let's talk about the version of the mother that most women have experienced at some point in their lives, and that's the shadow mother. This is where giving turns into overgiving, where nurturing turns into self-neglect, and where responsibility turns into identity loss. This is the woman who says yes when she wants to say no. She feels responsible for everyone else's emotions. She puts herself last over and over again. She feels guilty for resting and feels like she has to earn love through what she does. And if we're being honest, this version of the mother is often praised. She's seen as selfless, strong, reliable, but behind the scenes, she's exhausted. She's overwhelmed, and more often than not, she becomes quietly resentful. Not because she doesn't love those around her, but because she was never taught how to nurture herself in order to care for those around her effectively without losing herself in the process. This doesn't happen overnight. No one wakes up and says, I think I'll lose myself today. This is something that happens slowly and without even realizing it. Conditioning starts early. We learn things like be a good girl, take care of others, don't be selfish. And somewhere along the way, that gets translated into my needs don't matter as much as everyone else's. And then life reinforces it. You become the dependable one, the strong one, the one everyone leans on. And at first, it feels good. It feels purposeful. It feels like love. And then, little by little, you start to feel it in your body. You feel the exhaustion, the irritability, the overwhelm that seems to come out of nowhere. You find yourself snapping at people you love. You feel tapped out, wanting space, but not even knowing how to ask for it or really even understanding why you need it. That it actually is critical for your well-being. And then there's that quiet thought in the background. Why do I feel this way when I have so much to be grateful for? I know personally, I asked myself this question often when I was raising my children. I went through a period of postpartum depression, and from the outside, my life looked exactly how I thought it was supposed to. I loved my family deeply, but inside I was exhausted, depleted, and completely disconnected from myself. I had taken on so much responsibility emotionally, mentally, physically, and I truly believed that was just what being a good wife and mother meant. I didn't yet understand that I was allowed to have needs too. And what I also didn't understand at the time was that this wasn't just something I was feeling internally. It was affecting how I was showing up. I was impatient. I would get overwhelmed easily, and often I would snap in ways that didn't feel like me. And I would look back at my actions and feel guilt and shame for my behavior. But I did not have the understanding that if I took better care of myself, I would be able to show up much better for those I loved so deeply. So I couldn't understand why I felt so disconnected or why everything felt so heavy. And I know I'm not the only woman who has ever felt this way. From the outside, everything looks fine. You're showing up. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're being who everyone needs you to be. But internally, something feels off. Not broken, just disconnected. And the truth is, for many women, the awareness doesn't come as a clear thought. It comes as a discomfort. It comes as resistance. It comes as a slow building feeling that something isn't right, even if you can't quite put your finger on what it is. And that discomfort, that's the signal. Not that something is wrong with you, but that something in the way you've been showing up is no longer sustainable. Now, here's where I want to be very clear. Moving out of the shadow mother does not mean becoming cold, distant, or selfish. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start caring about yourself too. And for a lot of women, that feels uncomfortable at first. Not just for you, but for those around you that are so used to depending on you for everything. Because it's unfamiliar. But this is where your power lives. Let's talk about what this actually looks like in real life. First, you release the belief that your worth is tied to what you do for others. You are not valuable because of how much you give. You are valuable because you exist. And I know that sounds simple, but for someone who has spent years proving their worth through action, that's a complete identity shift. Then you start to reconnect with yourself outside of your roles and ask those who love you to support you in the need for self-care and self-discovery. Ask yourself, what do I enjoy? What do I need help with? What lights me up? And not in relation to anyone else, just you. Because the truth is, many women don't even know the answer to those questions anymore. I know for myself, it took a really long time to find out what I enjoy and to feel comfortable going after it. But know this, the act of going after it with the intention is moving and powerful. It may take time, but you will get there. Next, you begin to set boundaries, lovingly but firmly. And let's be honest, this is where things can feel the hardest. Because when you start setting boundaries, people notice. Some people might even get upset when you do start to set boundaries, especially the ones who benefited from you not having any. But boundaries are not punishment. They're protection. And the right people, they will adjust, even if it takes time and a few uncomfortable moments. Then allow yourself to receive. This is a big one because if you've spent years being the giver, receiving can really feel uncomfortable, even unsafe. But the Divine Mother understands that energy is meant to flow both ways. She doesn't just pour out, she allows herself to be poured into. And if this feels unfamiliar to you, start small. Let someone help you without immediately saying, I've got it. Let someone do something kind for you without feeling like you have to give something back right away. Let a friend pay for your coffee or take you out to lunch. Give yourself permission to rest without needing to earn it first. Even something as simple as sitting down with your coffee and actually allowing yourself to enjoy it without multitasking can be a form of receiving. Because receiving isn't always about something big. It's a shift in willingness, a willingness to soften, to not always be the one holding everything together, and to trust that it's safe for you to be supported as well. And then make sure to check your intention before you give. This one is simple, but really powerful. Before you say yes, ask yourself, am I doing this from love or from guilt? That one question will tell you everything. Because if you say yes to something you really don't want to do, you're not honoring yourself and you are laying the foundation for future resentment. And then you start integrating. This isn't about swinging from one extreme to the other. It's not about going from overgiving to not giving at all. It's about balance. It's about learning how to love yourself without losing yourself, to support without sacrificing your own well-being. It's allowing yourself to show up for others without abandoning yourself in the process. Because the truth is, the world doesn't need more exhausted women giving from an empty vessel. It needs more women who are grounded, nourished, and whole. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this episode, it's this. There is nothing noble about losing yourself in the name of love. Real love doesn't require your depletion. And the most powerful version of the mother is the one who remembers she's still a woman first. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who might need to hear it. And if you're looking to go deeper into this work, I do have a free Learn to Love Yourself workbook available. You can find that linked in the show notes or on my website. And as always, if you feel called to have a conversation about your own journey, I offer a free 20-minute discovery call to see if private coaching might be the right next step for you. The link is also in the description as well. Until next time, keep showing up, keep healing, and keep stepping into your power. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. I truly honor you for being here and for choosing to do this deeper work. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to stay connected. You can sign up for my newsletter at empoweredbythestorm.com/newsletter. And when you do, you'll receive a free copy of my How to Love Yourself workbook as a thank you. My book, Empowered by the Storm, is also available on Amazon if you'd like to go deeper into this work on your own time. And if you're feeling called to more personal support, you can visit my website to explore private coaching and see if it feels like the right next step for you. Until next time, be gentle with yourself, trust your journey, and remember, your healing matters.